How we doing, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Getting Jiggly With It. I'm Will, and today we're doing another top 10 video. Of course, it is for the month of April. Well, this is the Community Buzz. So these are games that are rising on the Pub Meeple rankings from month to month. Basically, we go out to their site, grab the rankings, do some fancy smancy math in Excel, and it basically shows us how much movement there was from one month to the next. One thing about this ranking, of course, it only looks at games that were in the top 100 from, say, example, March, and the top 100 of April, and how they adjusted within that top 100. Pub Meeple, of course, goes all the way up to 500. You can even pull, I could do 250, I could do a lot of different things, right? But I keep it to the top 100. That does mean that some games, for example, like Earth, which if you'll check out our top 10 community choice video, made huge leaps, about 106 spots, but of course does not show up because it didn't make it into the top 100 for March. All that makes sense. We'll continue with the video. So we are going to start at number 10. So number 10 is Star Wars Rebellion. It is an area control game where you are in conflict, of course, between the Galactic Empire and the Rebel Alliance. Of course, May the 4th be with you is when I'm recording this. I believe this one is just normalizing, and that's because it was very popular. It's always very popular, right? People always things. I did just see Gaming Rules just did a full 5-hour playthrough, I believe it was 47th last year. It was 64th last month, so the month of April, it ranked at 64th. So I see this one going up a couple more spots. Don't know if it's gonna be able to show up on here again because it doesn't have, well, it's got over 20 points, so it could technically show up here again, but I really just believe that's where it's shown up. I checked around and even on the official website, and I could not find anything new that was coming down the pipeline that might have driven this. So at least no news as of yet. If you guys know something, let me know in the comments. So number 9 is Barrage. So Barrage is a little route building game where you're trying to build a dam so that we can deliver power out to the areas. This one is climbing up very quickly because people are finally able to get copies, especially in other countries that are not in the European Union or the UK. And that's because Cranio is now offering international from their website, so people are able to get it. Plus, I believe some of their last few Kickstarter campaigns, they've offered this as an add-on. And of course, some of those Kickstarter campaigns are delivering as well. So that is Barrage. Number 8 is another one I believe that is normalizing, and that is Twilight Imperium 4th edition specifically. I don't know the differences between 1, 2, and 3. Never played 4 either, but it is an area control game where you are vying for galactic domination through military might, political maneuvering, and economic bargaining. So you're just gonna be moving around on the map and trying to take it over, I guess. It was, the reason I think it's normalizing, it was 11th last year overall. So it's a very popular, very high rated game. And it was 9th last month. So I believe that it is just normalizing out to where it will land and stay. Of course, like I said, 9th last month, 11th last year. It's probably done showing up on the hotness, but that is Twilight Imperium. So number 7 is kind of an odd one because if you watched my top 25 video, I tried to combine light games. Even when I do the top 10 community choice, I don't list both versions. And this is one of 2 that is on this list that, again, I believe is just a normalization of both games being in Pub Meeple when they're being ranked, and that is Everdell. So Everdell, of course, is a tableau building game where you're trying to build your town to get the most victory points, right? You're adding cards. Those cards can combo off each other. You're going to get some victory points. You're going to win the game. It's normalizing. Last year, it was 17th overall. And that's before I did any type of adjustment with the complete edition, which is normally the higher, or the complete collection, which is normally currently the higher rated of the 2. And then it was 4th last month as well. So it did show up in the top 10 finally. But of course, if you go watch the top 10 video, you'll see I only included one of the 2 games. Next at number 6 is Root. So Root is an area control game where you're playing little animals in an asymmetric pattern where each one has their own abilities and their own win victory conditions. So it's kind of like a little cute war game. We haven't played it. didn't work well at 2, but I do know they have some automates that work now. The reason I believe this one shows up is anytime something shows up on Board Game Arena or any other digital platform, a new expansion, more people are going to be playing it. And I believe the Underworld Digital Edition was just released last month, so I believe that's where that got root, a little bit of a push. Again, it is a very popular game. I think it was in the top 25 last year. I forgot to write for the non-normalizing where they were. All right, number 5 is Arkham Horror, the card game. Again, probably one of the more popular living card games. You got Arkham, you got Marvel Champions, and of course you got the Lord of the Rings. This is a deck construction game where you're basically just investigators going around trying to complete some scenarios. Very thematic, going against Cthulhu and the old gods. This one, the Fortune and Folly scenario pack just came out. So of course, most people, when they rate the game on Pub Meeple, they're rating the game with the experience of, well, the expansion included. So of course that will push up any normal game when an expansion is released. Number 4 on the People's Buzz is Ennis. Ennis is another area control game, lots of those this time, where you're trying to become king. It says that you can do it by many ways. I think, again, from BGG, you can have the highest clan, control 6 territories, or be in 6 locations that have sanctuaries. This one I believe is really pushed probably by 2 different factors. One, of course, is that Yucatan was released, which is another in this trilogy of games. I believe it's Blood and Sand, Ennis, and Yucatan. I think are the 3. Let me know if I got those wrong. The second reason, and probably the more popular reason, which honestly could have been impacted by Yucatan's release as well, and that is it made it in the top 100. Currently, as of today, it's actually 99 in the BGG top 100. So I do see that this one will probably keep climbing up a little bit, making its way probably into a pretty good position on Pub Meeple as well. We'll have to see at the end of the year where that winds up. All right, number 3 is Ultimate Railroads. So this is a combination game of multiple of the different railroad games that came out of this genre. It's not a normal route building game. It is actually a worker placement game where you're trying to just build the largest network. You put your workers out and basically assign them tasks that they're going to do. Russian Railroads, I believe, was the first, and then they had like a US and Asian. The Ultimate combines them all. This one, I believe, is for no other reason that the English edition says it was released in October 2021. So this may be a little bit of a normalization as well, or people are finally from October either getting their copies or finally getting their copies played. We saw that in previous month with a couple other games that were delivering around the time. All right, so top 2. Number 2 is another one that is normalizing. However, again, it's normally lower on the ranking than the version that I normally have in the top 10 list, and that is Great Western Trail. So of course the second edition normally shows up in the top 10 for like overall community choice. So I believe Great Western Trail is just normalizing. It's a deck building game where you're raising cattle and then trying to bring them to market, got some workers you're going to throw out there to do different things. It's normalizing in the sense that it was 33 last year overall. And then of course, Great Western Trail second edition was actually 13th last month. Great Western Trail, the normal edition, is always a little bit lower, but it is still a highly rated game. You go out to BGG, you'll see it's actually still rated very highly. I want to think it's in the top 25 overall. So I see this one probably now being normalized and won't show up on the list anymore. But I do think that, you know, it's showing up is proving that some people still like this version versus the second edition or even Argentina, which has usually been showing up on a couple of these lists as well. All right, and then the number 1 game is Kanban EV, which is a worker placement game where you're overseeing the manufacturing of vehicles. EV, I guess, means electric vehicle. It is a reimplementation of regular Kanban. This one I think is in part by Eagle Griffin Games and Vital Lacerda. They've got a new game coming out, which is Inventions, Evolution of Ideas. So a lot of times whenever a publisher and designer are about to come up with a new game, people will play a game that is similar. I do know also Bot was just recently fulfilling. I say recently, but I believe people are just starting to get Bot. So there may be some playing against those two. Which one do I like better? Do I like Kanban better, or do I like Bot better? So if you've played both of those games, of course, let us know down in the comments. If you'd like to contribute to the buzz or to the top 10 on Pub Meeple, all you need to do is every month before the end of the month, go out, rate your collection, or at least rate the games you've played, and that will impact the overall scoring on Pub Meeple. If you have any other ideas for this top 10 video, more information, I try to get a little bit different each time, just trying to get the flow of what you guys would like to see. Make sure you leave a comment down below. If you'd like to watch more of these videos, including the top 10 people choose choice video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know when we go, or know when it goes live, because it's only me, so it's not we. But until next time, guys, peace.